Well, a very good morning, everybody. Welcome to Your Vitamins with the man himself, Mr. Andrew Lessman. Andrew, maybe the appropriate thing to say is it's good to see you.
It's very good to see you. It's always good to see everyone. And I think we don't tend to appreciate our vision. Certainly when we're young, we don't. But we don't tend to appreciate our vision until we get older and start noticing those changes. And this is a product that I introduced over 20 years ago. And that was really the basis. The premise was giving our body the nutrients that had been established, that had been proven to be nutrients that our body concentrates in our eyes to protect our eyes in the long term. Well, we now know, and we have great science and research we'll talk about, that it not only is there for the long term, but it actually can improve the quality of our vision in the short term, because the key ingredients in this product are what are called optical pigments, and they're not just protective of our long-term vision, but also protective and supportive of our vision in terms of clarity right now, in terms of accommodation, going from a light to a dark space, a dark to a light space, where as we get older, even if we're younger, we struggle with that. Struggling with distance, working at distance and then working up close and working up close for too long. So all of these things that challenge our vision are things that become more challenging as we get older. And the nutrients in this product, will be going through scientific quotes and charts, as I did last night, that clearly indicate how it can help you in terms of each of those areas.
We're going to talk a lot today about this very important topic of your eyes. Andrew's got a lot of information to share, and of course we always look forward to this day. It is the best day of the year to get ultimate eye support. Andrew, is it a reasonable statement to say that it's one of the most expensive formulas to create?
Well, it contains some of the most expensive ingredients. In fact, astaxanthin is a little bit more affordable today, but astaxanthin originally was a 1% potency and over $1,000 a kilo, wow, which meant that it was about $100,000 a kilo, which means that it was about $3,000 an ounce, wow, which means it was more expensive than gold. Today, it's about $1,500 an ounce. Right behind it, probably just under $1,000 an ounce, is zeaxanthin, and lutein is just behind that. So these three natural carotenoids, and ours are all natural. They are all the proper isomers as established in the research and clinical studies. You're not going to find in all products that these ingredients are all natural. And also, these are ingredients that have only been relatively recently discovered by other eye formulas, but these are ingredients that, since they became available to include in a supplement, that's how long we were doing them, going back with lutein about 20 years, zeaxanthin about a dozen years, astaxanthin about 8 years. So because we track the science and track the research, I actually wanted the ingredient, because of the science and clinical studies, before they were available as a valid and a validated material that I could even put in a product. So if you want to get an eye product from someone who's been doing it for longer than anyone else, and the typical eye product used to just be vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, and a bunch of zinc. Those are 4 things that you get in abundance from my multivitamin. So the real key to eye health are the lutein, the zeaxanthin, the astaxanthin, the carotenoids, also the anthocyanins from dark fruits. And what's great about this product, when we talk about vitamin D, I can't recommend anything to eat to get vitamin D. There's no real food source of vitamin D. When I talk about vitamin K2, MK7, as important as it is, there's no real food source. When I talk about this product, you might say, gosh, those ingredients are really expensive. That product is so expensive I can't afford it. But you can afford to change your diet to start getting these ingredients, because lutein and zeaxanthin, not astaxanthin unfortunately, but lutein and zeaxanthin, they're hard to get, but you can begin to get adequate levels if you eat a diet rich in green leafy vegetables. That's the key. The anthocyanins for night vision, the anthocyanins that are so protective of the circulation for our eye, those anthocyanins are available from those purple fruits and things, and even purple vegetables when we talk about red cabbage. But typically blueberries, bilberries, raspberries, strawberries, that's where we're getting those ingredients.
Let me take you through the options that you can make today. There's a couple of choices. A lot of people are already very excited about the today's special pricing that Andrew does one time a year. You can choose the 40 caps of the Ultimate Eye Support, the 120, the 360 or the 720. The savings are pretty dramatic, as you can see. If you look at the...
And I was just going to say, the 40 is really a try me.
Right.
It's an opportunity to try the product, to experience the product. But what I always say, no matter what configuration you get, all configurations have a money-back guarantee. 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. 1 or 2 capsules a day is all you need to take. So that large bottle is a 2-year supply. Even a 360 count, obviously, is a 1-year supply at 1 capsule a day. I take 2 capsules, but even at 1 capsule per day, you're multiplying the daily levels you're getting of lutein and zeaxanthin, these incredibly protective, as they're called, macular pigments. Their very presence in your retina are what has given the retina its name, the macula lutea, the yellow spot. They make it look like that yellow spot. So they are absolutely critical, absolutely essential. We cannot manufacture them in our body. We only get them from outside our body. And the only way, and both ways have been shown to be as effective, whether it's diet or whether it's supplement, they both work. But sorry I interrupted you, Adam, when you're going through all the pricing.
And Andrew, to your point, one of the things that I've started to do, and you said it, I get the smaller one for travel now on a lot of the vitamins. I love that idea. No, it's basically a huge opportunity because the 720 is normally $300. Our price is $159.90. You save $140. We'll get to and talk about the bundles that Andrew's done, which includes the astaxanthin as well. So there's the 360 plus the 180. That would normally be $240. Today it's $150, saving you $90. And of course, obviously a popular choice is the big of both. Normally $449. Today it's $239 and saves you $210. So really, when you look at it, with regular pricing, it's almost as if you're getting the astaxanthin for free. Andrew, one of the things that, you know, reading your reviews and talking to people time after time, we appreciate and love the knowledge that we get. It's much more than buying into an idea that this is going to do wonders for our eyes or benefit our eyes. I think we all love that you show us how it's going to do that. And the key to that is the evolution of your formula.
Well, if you look at our original formula, we were using standardized extracts of botanicals to deliver lutein or zeaxanthin. And of course, now those carotenoids are available as naturally sourced, purified ingredients. So when we're talking about lutein, when we're talking about zeaxanthin, they're natural and they're 100% pure. So the levels we can achieve today are dozens of times higher than we did 20 years ago. And as this formula has evolved and matured, the levels of lutein, the levels of zeaxanthin have gone up dramatically. There are still, the majority of formulas on the market don't contain zeaxanthin. And a lot of folks think their multivitamin says lutein on the label. Typically the amount of lutein they have on that multivitamin is 250 micrograms. Most multivitamins have none, except for my own. They provide about 250 micrograms, which is about 1/40th of what you're getting today, 1/40th. So you'd have to take 40 days of their complete multivitamin with lutein to equal what you're getting one day today. And the levels we provide are the levels that the science recommends. We'll read those charts as well. We'll go through those. What I was going to do is start off reading some reviews. I didn't get to the reviews until late last night. It was close to 1 a.m. and I'm not sure how many folks were still watching. The reviews are impressive, and I encourage anyone to go to hsn.com and read the reviews. We don't, I have to say this all the time, we don't remove the bad reviews. So the fact that about 95% of the reviews on this product are positive is simply a testament to the product. The fact that well over, I think, close to 85% are 5-star reviews is a testament to the product. I think we have a graphic coming up on the screen here that shows, what is it, out of 1,890 reviews, 1,896 is that? There's 1,527 of those reviews are 5-star, another 178 are 4-star.
Unheard of.
Yeah, so it's a product that works. The science is clear. This is not an ingredient or a drug that treats your eyes. And this product delivers ingredients that if you deliver them to your body concentrates lutein and zeaxanthin at levels thousands of times higher than anywhere else in the body except one area, the brain. The brain is just behind the eyes, and really, frankly, the eye is just a specialized part of the brain. Their origins are shared. So the eye and brain share this common requirement for lutein and zeaxanthin. Interestingly enough, lutein and zeaxanthin, I have a bunch of charts here that talks about lutein and zeaxanthin and the role they play. You could pretty much track healthier brains by looking at healthier levels of lutein and zeaxanthin. So when you deliver these optical pigments to your eyes, your body is also delivering them to the brain, and they're delivering their protective benefits to the brain as well. But let's look at some of these charts. Pretty exciting. Excellent. This Ultimate Eye Support is an excellent choice of vitamins for your eyes. I don't think there's any other on the market like this one. I've had one eye surgery this year and have another one coming up in a few weeks. I feel like this supplement helps my eye health, from Debbie in Texas. Ultimate Eye Support. I started using the Ultimate Eye Support supplement when my optometrist saw that I had a small cataract. He told me that it might require surgery at some time if it got larger. I'm very happy to report that the cataract has not grown any larger. I've had my eyes checked every year for the last 7 years, and it is still small. Just in speaking about cataracts, Alfie, this is not a prevention or treatment for cataracts, but an eye surgeon who he's no longer with us, but one of the more renowned eye surgeons who developed a lot of the techniques that are involved in lens replacement surgery that many people get for cataracts. He made a very interesting statement to me one day, and I said, so when do cataracts really start developing? And his rather kind of smug answer, but not really kidding, was the moment we open our eyes.
Oh, wow.
The moment we open our eyes and let light in and light passes through the lens of our eyes, that starts a process of gradual oxidation and deterioration that really doesn't become problematic until, say, we're in our 50s or 60s or 70s or 80s. And so it's all of these things are just, as we call them, normal age-related changes in the eyes. Like our entire body, there are normal age-related changes. Things are different, and the eyes are perhaps the victim of the most profound changes. We think about our joints and all, and yes, our joints do change over the course of our lifetime. But our eyes, the changes are quite visible in terms of how they function. And it makes sense that it would, because our eyes are a part of our body. In order for it to work, light has to enter our eyes. We all know light will fade the paint on our car. It could yellow a newspaper in a matter of hours. So we all know how powerful a force visual light is, radiation is. And in order for our eyes to work, not only is that light entering our eye, but it's passing through the lens of our eye. Of course, that just explains why over the course of our lifetime, our lens will experience challenges. But more than that, that lens then focuses it. Imagine a magnifying glass focusing that light at a small spot in the back of the eye, which is going to be the retina. The central area of that retina is the macula. And wouldn't it make sense that our eye would concentrate as much as it can in terms of protective compounds to protect that area, that little spot? And guess what that spot has the highest concentrations of any part of the human body? And that's lutein and zeaxanthin. And they are not only protective, but they're functional. They are the optical pigments. They play a role in terms of optical filtration, which is why the challenge is going from accommodating light, bright light, and then going to a dark spot, or being in the dark and then going into a bright spot. Many of us, it's too difficult. We have to close our eyes, we have to put sunglasses on, whatever it might be, or it might even be just driving our car. That these are the sorts of things that lutein and zeaxanthin, their role as optical filters, optical pigments, they help us with. But, okay.
Because Andrew, you raised a couple of questions there. The first question, though, I've got is it ever too late? I know we can make these changes and have these benefits, but what if you know, from somebody that's 25 years old to 85 years old?
Oh no, we have some amazing reviews from folks in their 80s or older. That what I've always found with supplements, obviously over the course of our lifetime, to the extent we take good care of ourselves, we're going to have a better quality of life later in life. The benefits pay off over the course of our lifetime. But the older we are, the more our body benefits from the changes we make. And even put another way, when we're young, our bodies can absorb all kinds of abuse.
Right.
As we get older, it's not so easy, and that abuse or that the way we live just has greater consequences.
Right.
So finally delivering the lutein and zeaxanthin our body needs, that's what these reviews are. I would say most of these reviews are coming from folks from 30 to 90. And even in many of the reviews, they're mentioning their age. So whether they're talking about night vision, which we have dozens of reviews talking about that, improvements in night vision, whether it's talking about dry eyes, whether it might be talking about issues such as challenges working on a computer, spending long periods of time working on a computer, whether it's going from light to dark or dark to light, those are the things you read over and over in the reviews. And it's the things that you read over and over about these ingredients and the science. And the blueprint from this formula wasn't me. The blueprints from this formula is just the clinical studies and the science. So it's actually, if a company really wanted to make a great eye product, it's not hard. You just have to read the science and the clinical studies, and with the internet, anyone with an internet connection can have access to the National Research Database. It's free, and you can make the best vitamin product in the world if that's your intent. You then have to know the science in order to select the right lutein, the right isomers of zeaxanthin, and of course with astaxanthin as well, you have to be seeking something that's natural. And you need to make sure that it's from a non-contaminated source. So it gets complicated at that point, but if you intend to make a great supplement, it's not all that difficult to do. The only question is why so few companies really try to do that, unfortunately. But as we continue here with these reviews, where were we? He told me that it might require surgery at some time, talking about a cataract. I'm very happy to report that the cataract has not grown any larger. I've had my eyes checked every year for the last 7 years, and it is still small.
Fabulous.
Take care of those eyes. Various eye issues run in my family. I'm in my 50s, and the pressure in my eyes had been creeping up. I've been taking the Ultimate Eye Support and astaxanthin for about 2 years. My last 2 eye exams have been perfectly normal. I will continue to take these vitamins for the duration. Thank you, Andrew, for creating such fine products. I ordered the TS bundle from the last visit from Mr. Lessman. This is from last year. I ran out of this product for quite some time, and my goodness, I can certainly tell the difference in just 1 week's time. The presentations are valuable. I'm the person who works with computers a lot, and I felt Mr. Lessman was talking about me. I am in tears and grateful for Mr. Lessman for being the person he is, a caring person that stands beyond all of his products.
Indeed.
Wow. Excellent product. I've been taking Ultimate Eye Support for a number of years now. It has arrested my need for increased magnification when reading. I'm about to be 72 and still read at 2.0, which I've done now for many years. It also seems to give my eyes whatever nutritional support they need to keep any potential issues at bay. I wholeheartedly recommend this product for its seemingly comprehensive support. I've been using Ultimate Eye Support for over a year now on bottle number 2. I just had my eyes examined and still do not need glasses. Eyes are healthy. I'm 73 years old, diabetic female. I will use these as long as I live. I use other Andrew Lessman products too, from Jane in Wisconsin. And again, beyond working on computers and things like that, a lot of us, if we're diabetic, and type 2 diabetes has become a bit of an epidemic in this country, that's just something we talk about that in terms of sort of peripheral vascular issues. We talk about that in terms of our circulation vein support for healthy legs, that being diabetic, being overweight can challenge the blood vessels and circulation in our legs. It does the same thing to the blood vessels, circulation, capillaries in our eyes. So if you're type 2 diabetic, it's sort of a wake-up call that you need to be conscientious about caring for your eyes. You need to be more engaged, more involved with your optometrist or ophthalmologist. It's just something that it's part of being aware. Of course, it's best if we try to lose weight, modify our diet, and get our blood sugar under control. But to the extent we're dealing with those issues, it's a wake-up call letting us know that we need to be very careful and take good care of our eyes as well. I'm just going to read just a couple more here, and then afterwards we'll go into some science. Doctor was amazed. We don't add the capital letters, by the way. I've been using Ultimate Eye Support for many years and went to the eye doctor every 2 or 3 years for my checkup. And it was about the 7th year that the doctor told me that my eyesight kept getting better and better each time I saw him. I told him what I was taking, as he was amazed at my progress. Thank you, Andrew, for all the work you have done and are still doing for better health in all of us. Great results. For the past several years, I've experienced a decline in my vision. Then I started using this product. My eye doctor says that my eyes have never looked as healthy as they do now. I've gone from not being able to see anything clearly to being able to enjoy TV, use a computer, and read on my tablet. I depend on Ultimate Eye Support and never miss a day taking it. This is the one supplement I never want to be without, from Agnes in Illinois. And I take 2 capsules a day. I think most people who use it just take 1. So at 1 capsule a day, you're still getting far higher levels of lutein and zeaxanthin in a day than people probably are getting normally in a week from their diet. Positive results. I'd been taking Ultimate Eye Support for nearly a year. I had my routine yearly eye exam this week. My eye doctor exclaimed, "What are you doing? Your eyes are improved from last year." At age 67, I was hoping to just slow down the aging process. I was shocked that I had an improvement. My husband had best eye vitamins on the market. My husband had eye issues. I'll just do a couple more, Adam. Some years back, he is 68 years old now, and I love reading this. I was told back then to be using an eye vitamin. Then the doctor said to find a vitamin with lutein. You need lutein and zeaxanthin. Our doctor recommended these vitamins, so we ordered a small bottle first. We are now, after 2 years, up to the 720 capsule bottle and will not be without it. It has helped my husband's eyes, and his issue has not gotten any worse, and he seems to be seeing clearer. Our whole family takes these now, from Debbie in Missouri. Actual positive results. I went to the ophthalmologist today for pressure testing. I've been going every 6 months since starting these vitamins. My doctor said my eyes were much improved. I have noticed that even my night vision is better than it used to be. Anyway, today my doctor said that I could go for 1 year before having to come back to repeat tests. I've been using these Ultimate Eye Support vitamins for 1 year and will never be without them. They produce actual, measurable, positive results. Thank you, Andrew Lessman, for such a quality product, from Katy, North Carolina. The best. I've been taking the supplement for years. Every time I get my eyes checked, the doctor comments on how healthy my eyes are. In fact, my eyesight has gotten better, requiring new eyeglasses. It's amazing stuff, and I'll never be without. Thank you, Andrew. Rosie in Florida. One last one. Great product. Each year, my eye doctor informs me my eyes have improved because of this vitamin. I take many of Andrew's vitamins and have had great success with each one. I have many friends and family now taking these vitamins as I've told them my results. Thanks, Andrew and HSN.
Well, as you can see, as you can hear from listening to Andrew, there is nothing about Ultimate Eye Support that is normal. There is nothing about this show that is normal. I mean, there's so many folks that tune in every time Andrew is here, and we're honored to have you along. But I know there's a lot of people on this Sunday morning that are channel surfing and wondering, what is this? HSN started 40 years ago and set out to show you things, showcase things that maybe you'd never heard of or seen before. Everything you are going to see in the next 20 minutes that's left in this presentation will rival and challenge what you think about vitamins. These are, and I say it looking you straight in the eye, the greatest vitamins that money can buy. Head to head with any other manufacturer, there is simply no comparison. If you are taking any type of eye support vitamin, all we would ask you to do is stop and think about ordering this. If you are maybe somebody that's never taken anything to help support your vision, night vision, mental acuity, all of that, we would certainly ask you to consider ordering Andrew's Ultimate Eye Support. The ingredients are unrivaled, they are the best in the world. And the reason why we could sit and listen to those reviews over and over again is because they're real.
No, they're from very real people. As I said, despite the fact that they're almost unanimously positive reviews, we don't remove the bad reviews. That's just how this product can affect you. Right. And if you're not getting this product, then you should look for an eye product that delivers high levels of natural lutein and zeaxanthin in their proper forms. Those are the critical ingredients. You also want to get the anthocyanins, or even more importantly, we should all do this anyhow. We should eat a diet that's rich in green leafy vegetables. Lutein and zeaxanthin, the ingredients in this product, it's an opportunity for me to finally tell someone that there's no option with a diet. I often talk about vitamin D and vitamin K2, that there's no dietary option to find those essential nutrients. But when it comes to Ultimate Eye, there is. And unfortunately, in America, we don't eat spinach and kale. And say spinach, kale, collard greens, mustard greens, any kind of abundance. I have a great chart here that shows. And with lutein, lutein is reasonably available to those of us eating lots of green vegetables. Half a cup of cooked green peas, half a cup of cooked collard greens, 2/3 of a cup of cooked spinach. But you need to be doing this every single day.
Right.
A cup and a half of raw spinach, 3 1/4 cups of cooked broccoli. Where's asparagus on here? Because I eat lots of asparagus. Mira's asparagus soup from her soup cookbook is something I probably eat almost every day. That and the split peas, which split peas and standard peas share the same nutrient content. So whether it's split peas or whether it's just sweet peas, same nutrient content. The hard part in terms of diet, the disappointing part, is how difficult it is to get zeaxanthin.
Right.
And zeaxanthin is really it's even more powerfully protective than lutein. And zeaxanthin is incredibly expensive, unfortunately. That's what drives the cost on this supplement. And that's what I was saying earlier today or last night, that if you you have a choice, if there's an investment limitation, there always seems to be, you should realize on that 720 capsule supply, that's our 1 or 2 year supply. So it actually takes a very expensive formula and makes it very affordable. This is the lowest price that this product has ever been offered at. It was at this price last year for today's special. I didn't think we'd be able to keep it down here, but we have. So it's an opportunity to get what is otherwise a very expensive formula that we've improved over the years. And as it's been improved, its price has not gone up, and today it's actually gone down. But zeaxanthin, if you look at availability, it's very difficult. Oddly enough, cooked corn. Corn, if you're not talking about high fructose corn syrup, corn is actually a good source of fiber, a good source of lutein and zeaxanthin. Cooked collard greens, cooked spinach. Spinach is a great source of zeaxanthin, but even 16 cups of cooked spinach to be the equivalent of a daily dose. Orange juice is a very good source, but you're going to have to consume 25 cups of orange juice. But orange juice, ironically, or paradoxically, I guess, is not a great source of lutein, 46 cups.
Right.
So you get trace amounts, but that's why when you look at the average American diet on a daily basis is probably lucky to get a little less than 1 or maybe at most 2 milligrams of lutein and zeaxanthin daily. We're offering 15 milligrams daily. So we're basically multiplying by more than 10 the typical levels of lutein and zeaxanthin. And not because that's an arbitrary number, but because that's the number the science says that is ideal for you to get. So whether you take 1 capsule or 2 capsules, you're profoundly changing the availability of the ability of your body, the availability of these ingredients, but the ability of your body to deliver them to your eyes so your eyes can protect themselves long term, so your eyes can deliver the best quality vision today, and also so your brain can protect itself as well.
It's like Andrew says, I mean, if you're at home right now and you are eating all of these wonderful ingredients every single day and delivering to your body what it needs, then it's okay. But the reality is, most of us aren't. So to order this and to have this at home means we're giving our body exactly what it needs. We did get a question, so I just want to showcase one thing. We are making the bundle very affordable with 6 flex pays today. So that's a big, big deal. Normally, it's not on 6 flex pays, but if you see down here on our chart, you can do the Ultimate Eye Support by itself. Most people are doing the 360 or the 720 because the savings are huge. If you want to go for the combo, which is going to be Ultimate Eye and the astaxanthin, if you do the 360 plus 180, it's $150 and it's on 5 flex. I'm thrilled that our team were able to put the jumbo size on both on 6 flex pays down there. So it's about $40 a month, and of course, the price difference is dramatic. It saves you over $200. Andrew, would it be also a fair statement that in 2018, our eyes are more challenged than they've ever been? Because, I mean, we're the tablets and the phones, and we're always looking at screens. That can't be so good.
If you look at a more primitive lifestyle, which you have to remember, no matter how sophisticated our lives have become, sitting in front of, we used to say that we spent too much time watching a TV. Right. At least a TV was a healthy distance away. Now we've got smartphones that are, 15, 18 inches away from our face, if that, or we've got computer monitors, and we're staring at them for extremely long periods of time, almost hypnotized by them.
Right.
When you think of where our origins were, you don't have to go back many generations. Probably just go back a few dozen generations, and there weren't even books or things like that.
Right.
So we're not staring at things in front of us for very long. We might do some close work or things, but our existence was very simple. We spent most of our time looking out at the distance, and perhaps we didn't have to live as long to worry about the consequences of the way we lived as we do now. But unfortunately, the way we live, the exposure of blue light, that's high energy light that's being emitted, that's emanated by those devices, the way we function, where we have these bizarre demands, strange demands for accommodation. The eye wasn't designed to spend hours looking at something a foot away from our face. And also, at least in the past, if we were reading a book, that book wasn't emitting radiation, which is one of the reasons why I say at night, if you want to go to sleep, read a book. Don't read it on an electronic device that's emitting radiation. So again, this is something that challenges our eyes in a fashion that they've never been challenged to this extent before. It places demands on our eyes, whether it's expecting that we want to be able to drive in our 80s or 90s, that we want to be able to drive at night. These are all things that we might expect it and want it, but what's the saying that God takes care of those who take care of themselves? Right. Or just basically, you know, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. That if we take good care of our eyes, we're going to have better outcomes. If we don't, we're not going to have as good of outcomes. And the quality of our vision directly affects the quality of our life more than any of our senses.
I'm excited to kind of convey this idea that you can try this for up to 30 days. Andrew, realistically, within 30 days, I mean, the reviews seem to talk about seeing a difference, literally. Right. Would you agree with that? I mean, would somebody see a difference? Well,
I think part of the reason the reviews are so compelling and passionate is I think most people get the product not because they want to see a difference or expect to see a difference. Most people get the product because their doctor told them to, because the doctor recognizes lutein or zeaxanthin as critical for eye health, or because of the role that has been well established for lutein and zeaxanthin for long-term protection. We take it because we want, as I was just talking about, we want to reap the good outcome. Right. We want to be sowing good stuff, so we're reaping good stuff later. What's fascinating, and I have charts here that we'll talk about it, that it actually changes the quality of your vision today, as we've seen from so many reviews, and I have probably a stack of a couple of hundred reviews that, you know, dozens and dozens of them mention going to their doctor and their doctor objectively telling them that their eyes look different, their eyes function different, or folks saying, my eye is functioning different. You know, whether it's talking about things that these are not pathology or disease states, but talking about watery eyes or dry eyes that have suddenly improved, or talking about things like floaters and things that are just sort of the annoying challenges that our visual system hands us as we get older, because we really don't live. It's not like we're unconscious of what we could do. We just weren't necessarily aware that there are things we could do dietarily or supplement-wise. And hopefully one of the best things I do as I stand up here when I talk about this product is remind us that, you know, that spinach salad, that bowl of pea soup, those green leafy vegetables, the mustard greens or collard greens, to the extent you eat them, that sweet corn you have in the summer, those deliver critical nutrients that are the absolutely essential, most essential functional components of the retina of our eyes, or the protective systems of our eyes as well. But I was just going to quickly read some of the science here. And I know the science is not as inspiring as the reviews, but to me it actually is, because the science really speaks to how this can help us.
It's important.
So this is from a journal called Antioxidants. The xanthophyll carotenoids, that's the name of the group of carotenoids that lutein and zeaxanthin are a member of, the xanthophylls, are selectively taken up by the retinal pigment epithelium, meaning they are absorbed in that retinal pigment epithelium, preferentially accumulated in the human macula and transferred to photoreceptors. Photoreceptors, that's where the light is being taken in and the visual image created. But not only are they preferentially accumulated, they're accumulated. Lutein and zeaxanthin are found in the skin because it helps protect our skin as well. By the way, another benefit, helps protect our skin from sunlight, from UV radiation. But in our eyes, they're at levels thousands of times higher, preferentially accumulated to protect our eyes. These macula, the xanthophylls, protect the macula and broader retina via their antioxidant and photoprotective activities. Specific xanthophyll carotenoids, namely lutein and zeaxanthin, are preferentially accumulated in the retina and especially the macula to comprise macular pigment and protect the macula from oxidative damage. We want to keep our macula protected. It is responsible for the central core of our vision. It's the hardest working part of our eye. I look at the lens as being sort of a passive system that gets oxidation over the course of our lifetime, but the macula is where kind of the rubber meets the road and where that light is focused. Right. And that's a part of our eye that we want to protect, and lutein and zeaxanthin is key to that. Among this group, the xanthophylls, lutein and zeaxanthin, account for 20 to 30% of total carotenoids in human serum, which, understand this, but 80 to 90% of total carotenoids in the human retina. Again, they are preferentially concentrated. Lutein and zeaxanthin confer macular protection via antioxidant and light screening properties. They're actually a filter. It's like wearing yellow sunglasses. You know, you put those yellow sunglasses on, things don't look yellow,
right,
but they look crystal clear.
Right.
That's how lutein and zeaxanthin work in the eye. They don't affect the color of our vision. Our brain corrects for it, but they affect the sharpness of our vision. Numerous studies have demonstrated the antioxidant properties of retinal, lutein, and zeaxanthin, as well as functions in blue light filtering. If you use a phone, if you use a computer, you're exposing your eyes to blue light, regulating photostress recovery time, going from bright light to a dark room, that's photostress recovery, and neural processing speed, meaning how quickly we can process visual images. Numerous studies have shown, not one, numerous, that lutein and zeaxanthin, it's a reactive oxygen species, that's a type of free radical, scavenger in extracellular environments and in several cell types. It has a protective effect against oxidative stress-induced cell damage. In addition to their protective roles against light-induced oxidative damage, there's increasing evidences that lutein and zeaxanthin may also improve normal ocular function by enhancing contrast sensitivity and reducing glare disability. This is one of the most common reviews we hear, is that someone's vision, it's like turning up the contrast on a TV, where things stand out better, things look clearer, and also glare sensitivity. Many of these, we had a couple of reviews I had read that talked about driving when the light gets low in the sky, that the glare made it impossible to see, but that the eye accommodated glare better, it seemed, after they were using Ultimate Eye. It doesn't seem. That is exactly the role that lutein and zeaxanthin plays, among others, in our eye, helping us deal with that glare disability. And we have dozens of reviews that talk about that. Surveys about lutein and zeaxanthin supplementation have indicated that moderate intakes of lutein and zeaxanthin are associated with decreased risk of age-related macular changes and less visual impairment. And even on this product, it's an expensive product. As much as the Today Special makes it less than 20 cents a capsule, and at one capsule a day, you're doing wonderful things. If you actually do the math on typical intakes of lutein and zeaxanthin, if you just took 2 capsules a week, only 2 capsules a week, you'd be more than doubling the levels of lutein and zeaxanthin in the typical American diet. So that gives you a sense of how potent this is. Also gives you a sense of how little we're getting from our diet, unfortunately. That's the big problem. Moreover, lutein and zeaxanthin were incorporated in higher amounts into cell membranes in a single orientation, making them behave like optical filters. Lutein and zeaxanthin are perfectly, their structure is perfect for aligning themselves in cell membranes and straddling the cell membranes to deliver their protective and their filtration benefit. Therefore, these macular pigments could absorb and attenuate the photic damage, that's the photo damage done in the human lens, not just the macula. These essential functions of macular pigment may decrease oxidative stress in the retina, enhance vision in both normal and diseased retinas. As the only carotenoids present in the lens, lutein and its isomer zeaxanthin are capable of filtering out ultraviolet light and blue light, scavenging free radicals, and thereby possibly decreasing light-induced oxidative damage to the lens. In addition, they serve to protect the lens from oxidative damage by scavenging reactive oxygen species, indicating that their carotenoids may play a potentially important role in prevention of age-related changes in the transparency of the lens. So we've heard that discussion with the retina and the macula, also the lens. Last one we'll read here. With increasing age, a lower percentage of reduced glutathione can reach the lens nucleus, which makes the nucleus become less able to repair oxidative damage. Evidence has emerged suggesting that healthy lifestyle and proper nutrition may have a beneficial effect on the clarity of the lens. And that's what I always said initially was the research that convinced me that lutein and zeaxanthin had to be in my eye supplement before they were available as an ingredient to put in the supplement, was what's called epidemiologic research. Epidemiologic research is looking at large populations, looking at their behavior, and looking at their risk of disease or their health benefits, and aligning those behaviors with benefits or risks. And it's something that was very clear in the research was that people that were consuming diets rich in green leafy vegetables, and as well omega-3 fatty acids from fish oil, they just had healthier eyes. And that was what underscored the need to find a source for lutein and zeaxanthin. It took another 5 years and eventually found a source, and that was about 20 years ago.
Doesn't it feel good? And I know we only have 5 minutes left or so, but doesn't it feel good to kind of, instead of glitzy advertisements and, celebrities and everything else showcasing things or telling you things, doesn't it feel good to, Andrew jokes about the science bit and that it's not always, the most exciting part of the show, but he's right, it is. Because it's nice to trust something, to actually get to the meat and potatoes, as it were, of why something is good for us, why something we should trust, why something we should pick up the phone and order. It does feel good. It's nice to know the origins and why. The big question of why something should be brought into our homes, why we should invest in this for ourselves. So I know you appreciate Andrew going through all this. We certainly do. This is that one day a year where the Ultimate Eye is the best pricing.
Just quickly, I wanted to show a couple of things. First, how small the capsule is.
Yes.
Small, easy to swallow capsule. Ultra-fine powder, so you know you're not swallowing some rock-hard tablet that is going to pass through you with all these wonderfully expensive ingredients not benefiting you. You could also see that looks purple with yellow specks.
Yeah.
The purple are the anthocyanins from bilberry extract. That's what support night vision. The yellow specks are the lutein and zeaxanthin. So what you see is what you get. If you look at these capsules, they basically look kind of black.
Which one's this? Is this the...
This is astaxanthin. This is the astaxanthin if you choose the bundle. So those capsules look kind of black. But what we did is we opened one of these capsules. We kind of... Now it's going to make my hands a mess.
I'll stand back in case it squirts on my jacket.
Yeah, so I just opened one of these capsules. Now we'll turn it up on its side.
Look at that color!
So what you now understand, it's not black. It's just so rich and so concentrated, it's basically opaque. And it looks like blood. It's not. But if I really spread it out thin, like an artist would do on an artist's palette,
get ready to finger paint.
It starts looking like the color, like a pink flamingo almost. That color. And the reason why?
Why?
That's why a flamingo is pink.
Oh, is it really?
There's a specific algae, and this algae, it has this astaxanthin pigment in it, and that's what the flamingos eat.
Oh my
and that's also what provides the color that you see in the shell of lobster or crab or salmon. Unfortunately, we're not eating the wild salmon, and the farmed salmon isn't using very expensive natural astaxanthin, so it's not something that we typically get from our diet at all. But it's exactly that color, and astaxanthin is an incredibly, it's right up there with zeaxanthin in terms of its protective power. These are molecules that were just designed to perfectly protect us from the straddling the cell membranes and the tissues in our eyes, to protect us from UV radiation, from blue light, from the reactive oxygen species that are generated by an organ that for our eye to work, I'm sorry, I've got my orange fingers here,
Did a towel
finger painting, but for our eyes to work, it's a brilliant design. But it's a design fraught with problems and challenges, because in order for us to see, and I was talking about this last night, most of us don't think about this, that everything we see is reflected light essentially coming into our eye. It's light emanating from somewhere else. Obviously, if you're looking at a TV monitor or something, or a light bulb, that's light originating from that source. But most of what we see, I'm in a studio looking at a camera. The lights in the studio are illuminating that camera. I see the camera because I'm seeing the reflection of the light coming off that camera. The important part is, the only reason I see the camera is all of that light is entering my eye. So everything we see is basically a result of our eye and brain interpreting an image from light that had to enter our eye. It passed through our lens, and what did our lens do? It focused it on a tiny little area in our retina. So all that high energy radiation, light, is focused on that tiny area in our retina. So that's my point, that as wonderful as our eyes are, and it's something that can work perfectly for our entire life, but its very design implies, or begs to be taken care of. It begs that these ingredients that are not part of our traditional diet in America, they be added. Whether they be added because we change how we eat and start incorporating green leafy vegetables and purple berries, or a simple supplement that today is less than 20 cents.
And think about that, that's 20 cents per day as an investment in us. We love that you're involved. We've now over 17,500 spoken for. Let me take you through the options so you know exactly your choices today. If you want to try me, absolutely go for it. One of the things that you'll hear Andrew talk about a lot is that he just wants to pass on the information, and that's exactly what this is about. If you're intrigued at all, go for the 40 caps. Normally $28 today, less than 20, save 8. There's the 120, 360, or 720. Just to give you an idea, the 720 is normally 3. Andrew looks like he's been in a fight over there.
And I lost, or my hand lost.
$159.90, you save $140. Then there's the bundle, so just to reiterate.
I just found out that the 720 of Ultimate Eye, and I've been saying this, that the bundle is exceptional. I take astaxanthin and I take Ultimate Eye every day. I take 2 capsules of Ultimate Eye, I take 1 capsule of astaxanthin. But the real foundational investment is Ultimate Eye. So if astaxanthin presents too much of a budgetary challenge, stick with Ultimate Eye. And Ultimate Eye, that 720, you're not going to find a better value on. I hope we can repeat it again like this next year. But that Ultimate Eye at 720 capsules, that's either a 1 or a 2-year supply. But we're down into the hundreds on that now. Oh, wow. We're going to have to make more of that if we're going to survive the day. It's sort of early for me to be giving that kind of announcement.
But you made this, you did a highest potency ever, and you kept the same pricing as last year.
Yeah. Well, it's something we strive to do. What's amazing, if you look at this product before we added zeaxanthin, you'd have to go back more than a dozen years. You're going to see today's specials for this product where the product cost more. So where you were spending almost this much for a 360 count. So this is something that I've always strived with my products, and HSN certainly supports me in doing this, that we both on the large size, we do the very best we can to make those large sizes so affordable. Because remember, when you get that large size, if you're taking 1 capsule a day, you're not buying an eye supplement for 2 years.
Right.
For 2 years. It will be, it sounds horrible to say this, it'll be 2020, 2020. That's a long time. But so that gives you a sense of the affordability, and especially, as I said before, all 3 of these ingredients, lutein, zeaxanthin, and astaxanthin, they're in the top 5. Lycopene is right up there again, another carotenoid. That it's just incredibly expensive ingredients that we struggle, and we do the very best we can with the Today Special. That's when we have a special opportunity to buy more, and that's exactly what we did. We got special pricing. Just as we give you special pricing, we got special pricing on all the raw materials in order to offer this Today Special today.
It's funny, I can hear our team members from HSN and Andrew's team working together, trying to deal with some of these larger sizes. We are now over 60% completely sold out. Again, the larger sizes are wonderful. Andrew will always try to accommodate. I think a lot of people see this and say, okay, I'm going to take advantage because the day is here.
And again, as I said before, it's one of those, I almost feel badly saying it, but we don't want to say, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. When it comes to our eyes, it's available in our diet. So you don't have to get this. You don't have to, you could buy someone else's supplement too. Just make sure it's lutein, zeaxanthin, it's the right forms and things like that. But the key is making minor shifts in our diet to just incorporate more leafy greens. So instead of taking 2 capsules of this, maybe you take just 1. But there's an opportunity to make a profound difference. When you look at the studies, as I said before, the epidemiologic studies, there's different groups. They might call them quintiles of research. We all want to be in the quintile, the group in the research that get the higher levels of lutein and zeaxanthin. Because when you look at the health of their eyes, long-term, short-term, mid-term, long-term, we all want to be a member of that group. We don't want to be in the other group. And as a typical American, if I look at my diet before I made modifications to my diet, before I started supplementing, I was, like most Americans, on the bad side of that research.
With that in mind, we're going to wrap things up and keep on going with some wonderful other items from Andrew's line. Let's head over this way. Andrew, I just got the latest printout on your CoQ10, the finest in the world, may I add. There are now in excess of 3,000 5-star reviews, making it 4.7 overall. That's 84% perfect.
Wow, 84% 5-star reviews. Yeah, I think that's one of those products that's at almost 97%. Say if it was 3, 4, and 5-star reviews, which is pretty exceptional. But as you said, the only thing we set out to do when we make this product, it's one thing if we started with the best CoQ10 in the world, which is what we've done. and all our analyses, which I'm just not a spokesperson. We actually make all of these products. And when you look at our CoQ10, when you look at every single ingredient in every single product we make, not only do we get those raw materials from a trusted source, but we validate every single raw material before it gets incorporated into a formula. We then validate every single formula. We have a full laboratory that's doing this all in-house. We then validate everything before we ship it out to you. And we make sure that we have retains on everything so we could validate to make sure that there's nothing untoward that's occurring over time to any formula. So we take everything we do seriously, and when it comes to CoQ10, the most important thing with CoQ10 is when you realize how central and critical it is to energy metabolism, but also when you recognize that it does not work alone, and its other partners, unfortunately in America, are not readily abundant in our diet. Things like proper B vitamins, especially B12. I think that's why if you look at our CoQ10 and you look at others that are reviewed online, ours are reviewed head and shoulders better because ours is comprehensive. It's no matter how important we might be at anything we might do in our lives, we can't do it alone. You can't, what do they say, no man is an island? Yep. That you can't move through life without recognizing there's others that contribute to your productivity, to your happiness. So with CoQ10, as central and critical as it is to energy metabolism, to simply make a product and call it a great CoQ10 product and just have CoQ10 in it, underestimates the importance of CoQ10 and underestimates the relationship CoQ10 has with other ingredients. And that's why our formula works so well. Not just because we start with the best CoQ10, not just because we make it ultra absorbable because it's an ultra fine powder in a capsule, but because we also give you the best forms of all its partners, because its relationship with you is only going to be as good as it's supported by the relationships it needs. So it's sort of common sense, but no other CoQ10 supplement approaches it in the same way.
You see, for a lot of us, we'll go to the big box store and we'll see the huge CoQ10 on special and we'll think, oh, that's good, let's get that. But we don't know, because how are we supposed to know, is how is that CoQ10 different to this CoQ10? And that's what Andrew's going to try and establish in the next few moments. I always say these are the easiest shows to present. In 18 years of being on television, this is the easiest time I ever have, because there is simply an underlying knowledge from all of you, as well as me, that anything that Andrew does is simply the best. The best. So many times in life it's, do we choose this one or this one or this one? This makes it easy. And don't forget, today this is actually a monthly special pricing as well. Andrew, life is full of decisions to make, and I think what you've helped do is remove that complication from the world of supplements.
Well, my goal is, not necessarily making decisions easier that you get my supplement, but at least you understand what you're getting with any supplement. And I've known this for a long time. I said this last weekend, that I used to know some of the buyers at some of the head of buying at some of the large retail chains. And they would joke that they'd want to know my plans for products over the course of the year, because if I would talk about an eye product or I talk about CoQ10 as a Today Special, all of a sudden, or glucosamine, whatever it might be, that would become popular. Right. So I've long ago recognized that probably every person watching, that for every person who might choose to get one of my products, probably 10 or 20 people will take that information and try to buy the best product they could find at a retail store. That's how a lot of us shop. And most vitamins, I'd say probably 90+% of vitamins are probably purchased at retail stores, at supermarkets, at discount stores and things like that. I've talked for a long time about how you really can't compare those products to mine. It's really not fair to them. Their products are made by contract manufacturers whose basic only goal is to make a basic product that fulfills the basic wishes of that retailer. It's those folks, those contract manufacturers, are not deeply entrenched in the science the way I am. Those contract manufacturers were not making a CoQ10 supplement back in 1984. CoQ10 is something that is relatively recently, for those of us who are really informed about supplementation, probably taking CoQ10 for about, say, 5 to 10 years. For those of you who might have been following me, you've probably been taking it for 20 or 30 years, because I introduced it literally back in 1984. We introduced higher levels of vitamin D back in 1979, glucosamine back in 1979, omega-3s back in the early 80s. So I've been paying attention to these things, and the one thing, unlike a lot of the other products also you see on the market, that some of them don't look much different than when I looked at them as a child. Right. That my formulas, my CoQ10 product, when I introduced it in '84, it was 30 milligrams. Then it was 60, then it was 90, then it was 100, then it was 120, and it's gradually moved up to the 200 milligrams you see today. We gradually have incorporated, originally we just incorporated B12, then we incorporated a full B complex, and then because of the relationship CoQ10 has with vitamin C, we incorporate the equivalent of a separate vitamin C in our CoQ10. So when you look at the value of this, and most folks get CoQ10 for its protective benefits, for its central role in energy metabolism, but you're getting the best B complex supplement and the best vitamin C supplement while you're getting the best CoQ10 supplement. So it really is, it's not a Today Special today, but it's, when you think of the value, it really is. It's our next best pricing to a Today Special, actually.
I have a big announcement as well for anybody that's been messaging me asking about the acetyl L-carnitine. We are going to present it next. One of the most in-demand supplements that Andrew has made, acetyl L-carnitine, the finest example of it at some crazy pricing. So we're going to do that next. Be by your phones for that. Pricing on this one, as Andrew said, a weekend special. So 30, 60, 120, and a 240 saves you $50.
Next, it's a third off. This, if you went back 20 years, this is basically today's special pricing. Also, if you went back 20 years, you'd be spending roughly 10 times as much for the product. Wow. CoQ10 is the most glowing example of our continuing to make a product more and more affordable over the years. So, and again, the reviews on this product, as we started speaking about that, they're virtually perfect.
Thank you for all of your orders and your calls. Stay right there. Let's go over this way.
And be patient on the phones. We have plenty available. We're busy. It's just gotten very, very busy on the phones.
Well, Andrew, it's going to get even busier. I mean, I've had the privilege of working with you now for a couple of years, and every time, on the few occasions that you present acetyl L-carnitine.
This is only the third time. But before we do so, I wanted to mention our Secure Complete Meal Replacement. Yes. It's our ultra-low-calorie meal replacement. Unfortunately, we aired it last weekend, and for some unpredictable reason, it all basically disappeared. So we just have a few straggling bottles. You will not find a better tasting meal replacement. Of course, this is where a 30-day money-back guarantee really comes into play, because it's all about taste. So you're talking about roughly 60 calories, less than $1 a meal. You won't find a more comprehensive, you won't find a better tasting meal replacement than Secure. And unfortunately, we planned on doing a full airing of it this morning, but we won't be able to because it was gone last week, so I just wanted to mention it.
So there's some availability with a couple of the flavors, but not the full complement that we're used to. It's here. I know there's, okay, I can already see, and our producer's telling me, a lot of you are already trying to order the acetyl L-carnitine. Please be patient with us.
Well, we have very, very little of acetyl L-carnitine remaining. I think it's on a sort of a back order, so it'll take probably an extra week to get to you. But I had a product called Carnislim, liquid Carnislim. Carnitine is the ingredient that our body utilizes to mobilize fat to the site where it gets moved, which is a great basis for using the product, because obviously fat-burning metabolism, not just for those of us who want to lose weight, but fat-burning metabolism is critical to our key organs as well. So because being able to mobilize fat and utilize fat for energy is critical to our key organs like our brain, our heart, the most energy-intensive organs in our body that are working constantly. But what's really exciting about acetyl L-carnitine, it more affordably replaces my liquid Carnislim. So it delivers the carnitine if you're interested in something to support fat-burning metabolism. But the fact that it's acetyl L-carnitine imbues it with special benefits for the brain. Right. And that's, that's, for me, that's something that that takes it that one extra level further, because yes, it's critical to ensure that we have all the tools necessary to engage in fat-burning metabolism if we're doing all the right things. But when we deliver a molecule that's our preeminent molecule in our memory and brain product, So you now get that molecule, you get your carnitine, and you're getting it at a price better than the carnitine was previously. Now you get both opportunities. And that's why we've only aired this 3 times, and each time it's completely disappeared.
Well, we are, based upon what I can see, already 80% sold through, and I just want you to see the pricing that we have, because people talk about that.
And this is a little more than, this is about 15 cents a capsule.
Right.
This used to be 50 cents a dose, so 50 cents. So it's become, in this form, I would have never dreamed that we could deliver carnitine in its best form as acetyl L-carnitine, which with all its additional benefits, be able to deliver it at a fraction of the price that we had offered it previously.
And I think that's why there's always such a surge. It's right here, folks. And remember, if you're shopping a lot today, use that flex pay. It's one of the great HSN advantages. The $59.90 is actually on 3 flex pay, saves you $30. There's a lot of people